We're gonna weld up the tang end where I busted up the weld a little bit. So really the most important thing to me right now is getting that spine down to the proper thinness, and it's tapered both ways properly. The profile of the handle is going to be just this big blocky ugly thing right now because I've got so much meat there that it's just not reasonable to forge it to shape. I could, but it'd take me a half an hour to an hour, and I can grind it and cut it away in a matter of moments. So I'll just put the tapers in and get it all nice and flat, and then grind it and cut it. Now, one of the fun things about doing this all by hand is I don't have any templates to go from. I just kind of go with what I think is a good shape and sketch it in and kind of go. So here's where we are right now. You can see that fairly well. The white mark right here to the heel is 270 millimeters, and as you can see, I am well beyond that. I'm going to go ahead and leave it a good bit longer than 270, just so that I've got extra meat, and because it's fun. So I've got 270 is right there, so I'm going to come over here to, well, let's say 285. Right? So 285 right there is about where I want my edge to end. Okay? I'm thinking I've got too much meat here, so I'm going to take that off about like that. I like this shape right here. We'll put that against a straight edge and see what we think. And then right here, I've got 65 millimeters. That's a really tall knife. So I'm thinking I'm going to take a little bit off of right here. About like that. And that's going to take me down to 62 or 3. And then I'm probably going to take a little bit off of this back right here. Okay, and that right there takes me down to roughly 60. So we're going to leave that alone, see what we think. We can always take off later. It's really hard to put back. Okay, but what we really need to decide right now is what we're doing with this here handle. So I'm going to come and let's see. We'll start our handle right about there. Right? And that needs to be a curve. These curves are better. Now, with a hunting knife or a Bowie, what I typically do a lot of, I want this back edge to drop because that adds chopping power when you're doing a chop. You're not doing that kind of a chop. You're chopping against a cutting board, so you really want that spine to be, if not dead straight, pretty close to. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to get a handle, and I don't want that handle to be too awful long. Right there puts me about 5.5 inches away from the heel right here. So we're going to just sketch something in right here. Actually, I'm going to bird's head that. So what I'm going to have is that nice gradual butt end there, and that's going to curve up like that and go back there. Kind of. My sketching's really horrible, but that's kind of where we're going. So I'm going to cut out this meat right here and cut that off right there, and that's actually going to grow again when I go to forging it again. But I need to get some of that meat out of my way because it'll make me more efficient forging. So we're going to come over here to our grinder and get started on that. As you can see, I'm leaving the forge running because I'm going to be back in the heat here in just minutes. So we grab our lung protection, very important. The reason that keeps happening, the belt keeps popping up off, is because this is a very old belt. It's stretched out and it's kind of worn out. But that's what I'm using to do my rough stock removal, because if I did this with a brand new belt, it would destroy the belt almost immediately. Alright, and again, this is not the finished handle shape. This is just getting some of the meat gone so that I can forge it more correctly to shape. As you can see, that's a big honking handle. So that's a lot more meat than we need in that handle, but it gets some of our waste out of the way so we can be more accurate with where we're finishing. So now what I'm going to do, I lost my rod iron. There it is. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this wrought iron. I still need to flatten it out and clean it up some, but I'm going to forge weld it right there so that I've got that thickness for the bolster. Actually, that's a lot more meat than I want it to be. That's going to be a big heavy chunk of steel right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that down right here to about 3/4 of an inch. Yeah, or forge it down. Save material. But yeah, that needs to be a lot thinner. That's way too thick. I didn't think it was that thick. So, that said, here we go back into our forge. We're going to keep working away on this handle section some and get this forged down to a reasonable size.